Hello, it's Emma Jo here from Lavinia Stamps, and in this video I'm going to be showing you the second page of the Lavinia Tour's journey that we're doing, and that is basically a little story. Let me show you this page that we're working on this time though. So page 2 of the story sees us getting our wings ready and going to the hire shop, handing in our tickets and getting our itinerary. Great fun. Okay, so this page has got a lift the flap, it's got tickets, it's got wing tokens, and it's got a lot of fun. I'm hoping you're going to enjoy it. Come with me, let me show you how it's done. Right, so we're going to start with preparing the pieces, and this one is the door. Now I've got A5 multifarious card here, just drawing a circle so I've got an inkling of where I'm going to be focusing my centre. And I'm using Elements Ink Sundance on a size 9 stencil brush. And this one is Mini from the Mini and Moo stamp set, inked up with VersaFine Clair Nocturne. And that's Elements Ink Graphite with the wrong lid on. Note to self, check your lids. So we're starting off with graphite. And then I will be moving over into truffle. Don't worry, I do sort the lids out a bit later. So here you are, you can see the difference. This is definitely truffle and not graphite. And a little bit of Elements Ink Confetti. So we're not filling the whole page. And this one is Elements Ink Paprika. Now I'm going back in with a size 3 stencil brush and some graphite. And I'm just making that have a bit of feeling that there's something a bit further away. So I'm creating distance, if you will. And now we're going to prepare the mice. So using A5 multifarious card, and I've got Elements Ink Sundance, I'm just making circles. That's with green sleeves, and this one's confetti. You're going to understand why in a second, trust me. So, inked up VersaFine Clair Nocturne, that was Tilly. So I've got 2 Tillies in different colours, and 1 Mini, I think this is. Yep, 1 Mini and 1 Basil. And any pan pastels, just because this was about the right size for my circle. Doesn't really matter though, because I will be, I'm using this as a guide to cut out, but I will be ripping those later. So preparing the pieces, and I'm doing 1 text stamp this time. Well, actually 2, but we'll just do 1 at the moment. Don't forget to fly. And we just want 1 version of that. Now we're on to the tickets. So I've got some DL multifarious card. And I'm marking 2 centimetres across, which should give me about 4 tickets. And then I'm just drawing the lines, because I've done dots at the top and at the bottom, using my craft mat to help me, and using my ruler. And then I want them 3 centimetres down. So I'll do the same thing again, and that gives me 4 tickets and 4 wing tokens, but we'll come back to the wing tokens a bit later. We're focusing on the tickets now, and you can see here I'm using the craft mat to mark the center. That will all become clear. So in this I'm just going to be colouring it with Elements Ink Sundance and a little bit of truffle just to give it a worn look, but not much on my brush at all. It's just vaguely colouring it. Yeah, so here is the handheld punch set, and I've gone for the large one, and I'm placing it over that halfway mark, but only so it's a half circle. And that gives us this look of a punched ticket. This is Elements Ink Truffle. And that's just going to give us that worn look. Yeah. So let's cut our tickets up now. You can use a guillotine. It's quicker for me to just do it this way. So I've just put some Posca pen, black Posca pen, on my craft mat. A little bit of water, and I'm using it with my watercolour brush to just go around the edges and make it pop a little more. So I've got from foliage stamp set. You try doing this with foliage stamp set 2, and this one is foliage stamp set 1, and that's the long tendrily one. That just gives a nice line. Don't want it to be too obvious, but I do want a fair bit of glitter. So we've got some Stickles Gold going on around the leafy pattern, and some glittery yellow Posca. And that, my friends, is me putting my tickets to one side to dry. And let's go on to the ticket holder. Oh, hurrah! This is the ticket holder. So I've picked a greeny colour, and I think on the other side it's blue. But, you know, choose your own colour scheme by all means. So these are Dreamscape papers, and I'm measuring out 2.5 at either side of the paper, drawing a line top to bottom, cutting it as neatly as I can, and then I will want it to be 10 centimetres. Now it's a little bit of an overlap, so I'm just going to take that off, like that. Folding it in half, and folding it in half again. But so it's folding it in half separately, if you know what I mean, so that we fold the ends into the centre. Right, I've marked these out, these 4 squares, so you know which ones I'm talking about. So that's the second square, and we're folding it down. The 4th square, I'm folding up. The first square up, fold back into the half, and fold the 4th square down, and then tuck it in. Now, watch that again. Slow it down. Watch it again. Keep stopping it until you're happy with what you've seen. Okay? Now, once it's folded in, just cut any bits that you think you haven't, might need trimming. And you should be left with a perfect little ticket holder. And I'm using here VersaFine Clair Warm Breeze, and I'm just creating a little bit of interest with the Foliage Set 2 stamp I'd used on the tickets earlier, just to continue the theme. Don't have to have the whole stamp, you can just use it to overlap a little. And we've got Posca Pen Lilac. I'm just adding a little bit of purplage in there. That isn't a word, it is an Emma Joism. Okay. And we've got some Stickles Glitter Glue Lavender. So now we're going to prepare the wing voucher holder. Now, I've got a piece of Dreamscapes here, 5 centimetres folded up into 2, so that gives me 2.5. And I've folded that in half, and I'm cutting it, so I'm only left with that folded bit. So I've folded it the way I want it, and I'm folding that front section down just to provide a little pocket behind, really. And I'm giving a wiggly edge. I've turned it over to the back, and I've taken the 2 sides round and just turned it over. Now, this is green sleeves with a size 9 stencil brush, really roughly going onto multifarious card left over from the tickets, remember? So waste not, want not. And I'm just going to cut them up. And I'm adding a little bit of Elements Ink Mermaid in here, and a little bit of confetti. And again on the back, a little bit of confetti. Okay, so I've got VersaFine Clair Warm Breeze and a large malted wing set stamp. And I've gone for the open, not the dragonfly shape, but it's completely up to you. And I'm just using the same ink, same stamp, to carry on that theme on the wing voucher holder, which is going to look fab. There we go. So once you fold that top over, you should be able to pop your wings in. That's what I'm showing you there. And I'm going to use a glittery yellow Posca pen and just colour in some of those sections that the wings have left for us. And again, following that theme on into the tokens themselves. Got an aqua green Posca pen, so we're just mirroring some of the colours that are in the background. So I've got the yellow Posca pen, finishing up with some Cosmic Shimmer Metallic Gilding Polish Copper to do the edges, and that will just finish it off. Okay, now lift the corner. So we've done the underneath. I'm now going to rip the rest of the multifarious away. Don't worry, we can use some of that later on. And just get it to the shape that you're happy with. I love that raw edge of ripped paper because it accepts ink in a completely different way. So I'm just putting some glittery yellow Posca pen in the centre. And although it doesn't show up in the video, it does give a lovely sparkle. So that's my black Posca, and that's giving me some grassy vibes. So just flick your pen up. Right, Elements Ink Russet Orange, going onto that raw edge. Just looks lovely and so organic. And again, using a size 9 stencil brush. So there's my apple green Posca pen, going back around where the grass has been. Same sort of idea, just flick the pen up. That poor little mouse, dingle-dangling. And of course, don't forget the dots. Gotta love the dots. Okay, so I'm going back in with some white as well. Giving my mouse an eye. And I've decided I'm going to put a door there. So that's the Secret Garden door stamp. And I've put, because I don't necessarily want the steps, I'm using that paper to mask it off. And I've just used VersaFine Clair Nocturne, going in with a white Posca pen, because the background actually, it looks pretty good with the colour already beneath it. And just some white Posca pen. And I know really, that stamp looks like it's on a stone wall, but we're going to suspend disbelief, and we're going to use that stamp to be part of our door. So I've just used Posca pen there, black Posca with a little bit of water so that I can use it for shading. And that's what I'm doing. I'm creating, if you like, the hole that the door fits in with my watercolour brush. And you can see it start to pop, which is fab. Right, now I'm trying to echo what's already existing on the stamp. You know, the stone walling? Doesn't have to be as perfect as the stamp, it's just giving an echo. Yeah. Use some of that wet Posca to sort of carry on that grass theme as well. Happy days. And just keep going until you're happy with what you see. So I'm quite happy. I do hope I'm going to stop soon. Ah, dottage on the wall. And some brown Posca. You know, that's a cracking colour. It just helps, that in-betweeny bit between the orange and the brown. So what's going on top of it? Aha, let's create that. So using your original picture that we've just been working on, use that as a guide to create a top, if you like. Yeah. Righty-ho. And make sure you've got it the right way around, because that always helps. So using your secret garden stamp, we are now doing the closed door. So when you lift this flap, you're going to be opening the door. Simple. So this is the brown Posca pen, and I'm just colouring in the front of that door. And then I'm going to put my my paintbrush into some water and spread it about a bit. Spread it about a bit. Fab. Now, that is russet orange. With some Sundance. Elements ink, these, they're lovely and juicy and really quite vibrant. And now I'm going in with some paprika, which is a completely zingy tone. Love it. And there's Elements Ink Truffle. And this is my glittery yellow Posca pen. Because this door is magical. So we want some sparkle about it. Not too much, but a little bit. So we've had some, coral pink Posca pen, and now we're on with the black Posca. So I'm likening the idea of this just being a hole in the wall that isn't a cash machine, but a fairy door that is just a hole in the wall, and it expects you to fly to the next level. So I've used a watercolour brush with some water on it to just move some of that Posca ink about. And then any details I've gone in dry. There's the white for the grass, again, just like we did underneath, and the apple green. Now, just in case you're under any illusion, I'm putting lift where it needs to be. And now we're going to make that bend. So I'm going to use my ruler and just put it in a straight line and score down there. Using my nail. Now this is graphite, Elements Ink graphite, because I suddenly thought, gosh, when you open that door, what are you going to see? Absolutely nothing at the moment. So a size 9 stencil brush, bit of graphite Elements Ink, and we'll create the inside. Now, I suppose I could do the other side of the door, but I think we don't need to. We can put something else there. It's not a problem. And that was graphite ink going around the edges. It almost makes it look burnt, doesn't it? And I hope you saw me putting Don't Forget to Fly. That's where it's going to be going. So this is the page. We have opened the journal. And I'm using Elements Ink Pine, a size 9 stencil brush, and super speedy. This all is super speedy. So I'm working out where I want to put some graphite, just to smudge it in and give us some interest. There we go. And these journals are really forgiving. And there's something I must say to you. If you muck up, if you do anything with confidence, it'll work. Okay? So don't worry. The good thing about sticking things into a book is you can always stick something over the top. So this is Dreamscape's paper. And I've ripped it, just like we did on page 1, to make grass this time. And I'm sticking down the wing tokens that are now all nicely in their holder. And I'm using the Dreamscapes again with their ripped edges to create a landscape. So I'm going to stick my lift the flap door over there. There we go. Happy days. That bit is done. And just because I want it to glue properly, I'm sticking those bulldog clips in place. Now, I haven't stuck down the tickets yet because they're not going to live there. So we need to work out who the ticket takers are. Ah, and they are the small pixies. So I'm using the small pixies stamp with some VersaFine Clair Nocturne on an acrylic board. And I'm just stamping them first. Then, like we did with the mice, I've got Elements Ink Sundance and I've just given them a backing of yellow with a little touch, just a tiny touch of confetti. And off we go with the ripping. And I'm just making a circle. Doesn't have to be perfect, but you know, you do what you can. I'm sticking these tickets down now. And because I want them to go as a unit, I've stuck my small pixies into position either side so they're underneath, because they are actually carrying the ticket holder. And we're going to stick that in that place. Now, I've used some scraps here that basically I'd done with Sundance and Truffle Elements ink, just to create a sort of parchmenty look, a bit like we did with the tickets. And that's where I'm going to write, "Tickets, please." And again, I'm just using very simple writing and putting dots on the ends every now and again because it just makes all the difference. And these tickets now have admit 1. You can do extra on there by all means. Now we're moving to the wing shop, where wings are for hire. And here we have the wet wings stamp. It just seemed fitting, didn't it, to have the wings for hire on a washing line. And that's where this stamp comes in. So I've stamped it up with VersaFine Clair Nocturne. And I've done an extra set because I'm going to give some of my mice wings. So just ripping around their shape, using some bibbidi-bobbidi glue, I have cut out some of the wings that were on the line and I've stuck them to the back of Basil. And I can't remember if it's Minnie or Tilly, but Mouse has got them. Okay, and just to make them melt into the background, I've just used Elements Ink Sundance on my brush over the top. And this is orange Posca pen. I've shielded bits I don't want to get splattered, and I'm just tapping it to get some splats. And I've got multifarious scraps, Elements Ink Sundance, black Posca pen, and I've popped that down so that all my mice can speak. So this one's saying, "Yippee, wings!" because it's so excited it's going to get wings at last. The itinerary. So this is that magic bit of paper that tells you what's happening on what day and where you're going next. So again, just a scrap of multifarious card from something I made earlier, Blue Peter. And I'm just colouring it with Elements Ink Sundance and a little bit of Truffle. I've got the Lavinia stamp and I've inked up that side because we're only showing half of it. A little bit of black Posca as I write in, "Get wings." And I put some suitably vague things as well. And we're just going to put some bibbidi-bobbidi glue on the back of it and stick it to that corner. Okay? And don't forget to trim it. Now this little mouse that's falling, I'm giving him words too. So I've put oops. And this little mouse down there is going to have 3 little bits of words to say. Again, we're colouring them with Sundance. And it says, "Wait for me. Wait for me." And Basil, as always, is leading the way with his lantern. And now I've got the ivy stencil just to finish up tying the overall picture together with some graphite ink. And you don't need to put it everywhere, but just a little bit here and there ties it all together and still lets you think that it's in a forest or, you know, in the woodland. Fab. Okay, happy days. So now I've got, I think this is truffle. Yes, it is. Elements Ink truffle and my watercolour brush and some water, and I'm just adding to the edge of that itinerary to make it pop. And I'm giving flight lines to the fairies and their wings and some stickles. That was Stickles Glitter Glue, Icicle. And I'm putting that on some of the tickets as well because it seemed fitting that that all was covered in the same glitter. So we've come to the finishing touches and we're going to put Christmas red stickles on the Don't Forget to Fly like a danger sign, and it's going on the back of the door. And you, my friends, have done it. Well done. Well done. I really enjoyed doing that. I enjoyed the technical pieces and doing the little bits here and there, like the ticket holder and folding that into the correct shape and doing the lift the flap, and then setting the scene with all our blending and our mices and our mices and yeah, great fun. I hope you've enjoyed yourself. I certainly have, and hopefully I will see you for page 3 in March. If you've got any comments, any feedback, that would be great. Please pop them in the post below and I'll do my best to get back in touch with you as soon as I possibly can. But in the meantime, folks, you have a good time and you take care. Okay, bye.